everybody. My name's Craig.
I'm Brian.
I'm Burke.
And I'm Michelle.
And this is Get Dunked On, the podcast.
Hip hip hooray!
That wasn't. Wow. Just wow.
I didn't think you were actually going to do it, Brian.
Of course. I
He's
deliver
got
on my
balls.
promises.
All right, so today's topic is travel, and I actually have a kind of funny story from my most recent traveling, which was last week to visit my family, and that was when Brian invited me to have game night with people that I literally haven't seen since graduation day of high school.
Keeping it awkward.
Yeah. I'm waiting for Brian to go. Since his earlier comment for I fulfill my promises, he let you down and it canceled the whole thing last minute. please.
No, not quite. But
Okay.
no, it was just, so we went over and we ended up at Kirk's house, and Brian set up his Wii and N64, and we played Mario Kart 64, which, by the way, I won. I just want to point that out. That's irrelevant, but
She did. That's true. Very true.
It's only because you were watching Summer's Games Done Quick and using all their techniques.
Yeah,
Cheater.
she was at Wario
Cheater.
and just hopping the wall. I was like,
Seriously.
oh, okay.
Hell
okay.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Wall hopping.
I didn't actually do that, though. We did talk about how you do that, Craig.
Yeah. We
Yes,
actually
I
made
do.
fun of you.
Everybody can do it. It's not like I'm cheating. Anybody that has skill can do it.
No,
It's
but
still
anyway,
cheating.
so the really funny part was when we set up NFL Blitz.
2000.
So I heard that a lot of people love this game.
I fucking hate that game.
What?
Do you? Because they said that you love it, but I didn't realize they were being sarcastic.
Oh, they're being the utmost of sarcastic. That is one of my banes of video game, is that fucking game.
I love hearing Brian just do his little menacing high pitched.
It was so funny because we're like, oh god, Craig will not stop getting off. Like he's like, oh my god, this is the best. Oh, can we play that again,
The
man?
game's so fucking stupid.
Forget Halo speedruns. It's all about the blitz, baby.
I won't go too much into it, but it's just it's one of the few things that unrealistic sports games really get to me. I just can't play them. I'm like, this doesn't make sense to me. Why is a first down 30 yards? This doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm not even a big football fan. So, but it's just unrealistic. Like, I can't do the MLB hits. Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey was the last unrealistic game that I played, and I can't do them. I cannot do them. They make me just irrationally angry.
He loves them.
Well, I have never played the game. I truthfully have never even heard of the game prior to this evening.
Wow. Wow.
But everyone else in the room had played it. It sounded like pretty frequently.
Extensively.
like I don't know, ever since it came out.
So I watched the first round of it, and I mean, I get it because I understand like the rules of football, so like I kind of get what's going on for the most part. And
Well,
then
you got one up on me then. Damn.
Brian's like, oh, we're gonna make you play, and I had no idea what I was doing. And literally every time I was quarterback, like Brett was just immediately blitzing me, like just no questions
course.
asked, like,
Of course.
and I couldn't do anything. And Brian, do you remember like what the score was for when we were tied?
It was really, really high. Like God,
I
I want
think
to
it
say
was
like
42 to 42.
Yeah, 42, 42. I
Because
think it's what it
Brian
was.
was doing all the work when he was quarterback, and I was just, I wasn't doing too bad when like
No,
we were
you were
doing
doing
defense.
great. You were
but
doing
for
great.
offense, like I had no idea what I was doing, and I don't understand football plays because I don't know, they just don't make sense to me. And also, like Craig said, the game's not even realistic anyway. And
All the
Brian's
X's and O's.
Brian's like freaking out because Brett had managed to hit some buttons and took away the two plays that Brian consistently uses. So Brian's like, I don't know what to do anymore with my life.
It's true.
Don't you just Hail Mary it all the time?
No. In that game, I have two plays: Sub-Zero and Blizzard. They're the only two plays I call them my Arctic plays. And and every time I play, I'm like, "Welcome to the Arctic Circle, boys. Here we go." And all I do is use Sub-Zero because I can either run from it, I can throw the Hail Mary, I can pitch it, I can do anything I want with those two plays. Brett somehow hit every button in the game during like the part where you can put in the code, and like took away every play I'd ever even heard of. And so I'm looking at it going, this is a whole new game. Oh my God. and of course, Michelle and I are on a team. So it's one of those deals
Brian
where
was nice enough to take me on his team knowing that I hadn't played. And it was it Brett and Kirk?
It originally, it was Brett and Kirk because Tony was going to play, but then he ended up getting the pizza or whatever.
Okay.
Oh, so Tony actually showed up?
Yes, he did.
Wow. Hey, he's making steps up now.
That guy.
That guy.
Okay. So, and the other interesting thing to note, all of these guys in this room were on the football team, just so we all know. So
not Brett.
Are you sure?
Brett didn't play junior and senior year. No, he did not.
Not junior and senior year.
But he played prior to that.
Yes, he did. Yes.
Yeah, he played prior.
Okay, so at one point, all of these people were on a football team then, and I was not. So it was like 42-42, and we were in the last 2.5 minutes, maybe.
If that, no, it's under a minute. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're under a minute, and Brett and Kirk are kind of acting all confident and cocky because Brett has just been blitzing me every time. And of course, now it's my turn to be quarterback. And I don't know what happened. I just started pressing random fucking buttons and we literally beat them with 2 seconds to go with a 60-yard throw because I picked the right play and got it off before Brett could do it.
She starts banking left, but then throws it into the top right where Brett was supposed to be defending, but he was blitzing again for the 100th time. And so it goes over his head and he's like, no. It was hilarious. The look on Brett's face when he loses is bad, but when he loses to somebody who's never played before, he was just like, whatever.
Yeah, I can't tell if he was legitimately upset or not, but I thought it was fucking hilarious.
It was the best.
I would have been more helpless than you, Michelle, because, I mean, how much experience do you have playing football games?
Absolutely zero.
And that's my problem is I know enough about football because I did play, even though I don't like watching it. I understand the process of it. I understand the plays. I know what.
See, I don't, because I can watch it and know what's going on, but that's about it.
Right. And I know the different packages you want to send out there for defensive looks. And so I know that stuff because I played and I just kind of understand sports as Brian puts his Pokemon. It's a chess match, but a little bit more live action. You're still trying to counter what other people are doing and whatnot. And that's what frustrates me about that is because it's so unrealistic. My knowledge is completely null during that, but it's a game I know so well. It'd be like Brian again, if Pokemon completely just shuttered everything they knew and went to, let's say, a live action one, and it turned into a fighting game, like a Pokken tournament type thing. But that was how you played
standard,
but that's how you played. It wasn't just one side game. That's how you played the entire game. Like, Pokemon Moon and Sun, it's actually going to be a
first-person shooter.
Yeah, it basically that you go, what? This isn't it. And it takes out all the knowledge that you have about typing of this and doing IV training and then having these hidden abilities based on this and speed. And it goes, nope, you got to hit button combinations like it's Mortal Kombat now. You got to know forward, down, back, X, and that's how you do your moves. You'd be like, this isn't it. I understand people like this, and heck, if it helps people out, but this is so stupid. I don't want to play this anymore.
Yeah, Craig got very frustrated with that game, so we learned that.
Yeah, so
there's certain games that you don't play.
It was just really funny because they really were so confident they were gonna win, and then I had my Rudy moment and destroyed everything.
It's true though. No.
Rudy moment. That's awesome.
At the half, they were up by at least 2 touchdowns at the half, and so Brett is of course doing his usual thing where he gloats, especially when he's up and he knows he's got an advantage. He's kind of sitting back, smoking his fake cigar, going, "Looks like you kids need more time in the training grounds. You can't beat old Brett. I'm the best." And I'm sitting there going, "Okay, all right." And we just kept throwing the ball, and Michelle really stepped it up, especially on defense. She was naturally good at the defense in the game, though. I was really impressed by that. Most people, it takes them a while. She was like, no, I get this. You don't blitz. You hit the flashing guy. I get it. I was impressed.
What's funny is more than likely, I'm pretty sure if Michelle and I were to play, she'd still beat me in that type of game.
Oh, I guarantee she would. She was great. Just naturally good at it. But but she came to Michigan all the way to Michigan just to play NFL Blitz. That's the moral of the story.
Lucky me.
I forced him to start playing me. I was like, every game we play of Blitz, you have to play me in a 9-inning game of MLB The Show, which is the most realistic baseball game, to the point where it's boring to so many people because it is literally the most realistic sports game ever. The whole series is. And I was like, every game we play of this, you have to play one game, 9 innings of simulation with me. And they're like,
we quit playing.
Yeah, we didn't play ever
I
again.
imagine that was not worth it to them.
Nope, it was not worth it.
But Michelle, I'm sure that you thought that it was worth the time flying, correct? Just making sure, just yes or no on that. So you can just say, yeah, it totally was worth the flight, right?
An hour and 10-minute flight, and I got to beat them, and haven't seen them in 11 years, and I beat them in 2 video games. I mean, I'm pretty happy.
Exactly. See, and that's why we're talking about travel today, is because travel is a wonderful thing. It allows you to have wonderful opportunities to have great things happen. But at the same time, I think we all have travel stories that are, we'll say, disaster stories as well. So we're going to go ahead and start to talk about that a little bit. To make this a little bit easier on us, I went through and made a little bit of a. It's not so much a would you rather so much as it is a have you ever sort of situation. And we're going to go down the line here, going through these questions, and of course generate a little bit of topics for you guys and a little bit of discussion. So you guys ready?
Bring it on.
Yes.
I got my drink.
Okay.
So never have I ever.
Never have I ever. Okay, we're definitely doing it that way. And
all right.
And
I got my drink too. It might be water, but I've got a drink.
The order in which we're going to do this, just to kind of keep it a little organized, is Burke, you are going to go first because you got your drink in your hand.
All right.
And then we're going to go. What's that?
But am I going to be scorekeeper on this, or is there any score?
There's not a
I don't
score,
know.
really. It's just
I think they're discussion questions, not like a...
You know what, Burke? Keep score of the people who have done these things. You know what? Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it. Why
All
not?
right.
And
I have a job.
and the winner gets a drink. Okay.
All right.
So to start off with, it's going to go Burke, and then it's going to go Michelle, then it'll go Craig, then me. Sound good?
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
Fair enough.
To start off with, it's going to be an easy one, a bit of a layup here. So it's a Burke. How did you put it? It's the which game?
Oh, just go with what you had. I was
No. Okay.
regardless. I'm drinking.
Never have I ever.
Never have I ever sat next to a crying baby.
Actually, I have on a plane.
Yes. I'm sorry. All these things are going to be plane related, especially because Michelle had just flown.
No, I have not.
You've never sat next to a crying baby, really?
I have escaped that fate somehow.
Wow.
They've been like a few rows back, and I still want to. Yes, a few years back. I'm not going to say what I wanted to say.
Censored.
I don't think so. Like, I'm trying to think back and I don't recall it. Literally the last flight that I took from Michigan back to here, like a couple days ago, there was like a fucking ankle biter dog that kept barking, but I don't think I've ever had a crying baby.
What is the define next to me? Like, what is the closest, what's the farthest away they could be?
1 seat away, meaning like either just to your right, just in front, or just behind.
Okay, they can't be like kitty corner,
Not
like
kitty corner,
one
no.
seat back, 1 seat
No,
right.
we're saying this is literally like if this was, you know what? We'll use Pokemon as an example. Like, you know how it has the grid format? If they're inside of your grid, then
Up, down, left, right, the four
yes,
cardinal directions.
The 4 cardinal direction grid. Yes.
No, I have not had them in that. I have had one to 1 seat back behind me and 1 seat to the right. That is
Okay.
so. That's why I was like, "Is that next to me?" Because that's pretty close, but it was not completely right next to me in my row, and it was not straight ahead or straight behind me.
Okay. Say I will tell you that I have definitely had that sort of situation. I was on a flight back. It was one of my work projects, and they literally like I could see him get on the plane and go, "Not me." Anywhere but not me, not me, not me. And of course, they sat down right next to me, and they were very nice. Like the mom who was holding the kid, she was very nice, very apologetic. And I said, no problem. I put my headphones in, literally max volume, just try to blow my eardrums out because the kid, as soon as the wheels started to move, oh god, I don't blame him. I don't get mad at him. It's just one of those awful things of
Yeah, it was pretty bad because the kid was, I want to say the kid eventually did stop crying about halfway through the flight, but for the first half was just wailing because of the pressure change. And or at least that's my assumption. I guess I'm not in the mind of a child at that point. But
usually going down's the worst.
I had it where the kid was going up, but I put headphones on. I could hear him through my headphones, and I was listening to an audiobook, and I could hear it over my audiobook, and that's when I was missing, because it was just like the standard white like iPhone headphones, like in ear earbuds. So it wasn't over the ear. So I was kind of like, crap. I wish I would have had some over the ear noise canceling, but I did not. And about halfway through, I think I fell asleep or the kid stopped crying. It was one of the two things. Because I've had a bunch of kids sit next to me, but I've fallen asleep a lot. And I feel like I would have woken up, but I did always put in, whenever I had a kid near me, I'd always put in headphones and put something on and try and fall asleep.
Number 2. Okay. Never have I ever fantasized about stopping a terrorist attack.
Oh, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I know I'm jumping the gun, but yeah, Burke.
Boom, yeah.
Of course. You fantasized about like...
And I'm sure you profiled people too, Brian. You...
What? No. So Burke, tell me about it. Run me through your scenario.
Oh, dude, I don't know. You know, I'm from Texas, so, you know, I always have a knife, and no, I've always I'm like, okay, if something happens, what would I do? And I was like, well, I always try to get, you know, before all the flights, like, oh, you got to be special and pay more money to get in the exit row aisles. I would always try to get that, so I have the window and more leg room, mainly because I could get up and get out fast, and I would have room to jump over and attack someone if I had to.
Women and children first. Burke's like, fuck this, kicks the door open, jumps off the plane.
No, I'm talking for terrorists, man.
Terrorists.
And if not, I will always sit in the aisle just to be like, and like, I can fall asleep, but I'll always just be watching people.
Be vigilant.
I am. It's just how I naturally am. I'm like, yeah.
A watchful protector. It's like
night. I can use this can in some way. It's like I have keys in my bag. Oh, the keys are coming out. You know. Oh yeah.
Burke, I love you so much. Every podcast that we do together, I'm like, this is my man. This is my guy. All right, Michelle. Michelle, tell me, have you ever considered that?
No.
You've never fantasized about stopping a terrorist attack?
Not quite.
It's okay if you haven't.
No, I just every time I get on a plane, I prepare a text message that I've copied to send in the event in kind of any disaster.
Oh, wow, really? So you kind of go the other way with it.
Yeah, so like
you prepare for the worst.
It doesn't matter what it is. It's just kind of like a prepared text message like, hey, this flight is fucked up, like contact whoever you can or whatever you need to do.
This flight is fucked up, lol, lol, lol. That's what mine says.
So as soon as you land, it sends out. Wow.
Yeah, so it's not like, it's not specific to terrorism, and it's not necessarily stopping it. It's just kind of like, I always have that preparation every time I get on a plane.
Okay.
See, I'm never prepping individual flights, because whenever I've flown, I usually have the same exact things on me. I do have keys, but up until this most recent house that I've had, all my keys were like really big and fat and would have just been kind of something for me to hold on to. They wouldn't have been good stabby stuff. So that never crossed my mind. I was not going to use any of my tech gadgets to try and hit somebody with. I'd rather the plane go down. And so other than that, and of course, like I'm with you guys where I'm always mentally kind of preparing myself, but I've kind of come up with, I've been lucky enough with my family. I've flown a lot of places for vacations, going and watching Tiger games, and then for work, I was flying once a week is what I averaged for about 6 months. I was flying, and it was to the West Coast and back to Michigan. So there are 4 and 5 hour flights all the time. So I got to the point where I literally stopped kind of paying attention to every single flight and just kind of went, you know what? Something happens, I'll be the guinea pig that sprints down the aisle and just sees it and lets everybody know if the other people are serious, if they're going to try and take over the plane. Because I'm just going to go tackle those sons of bitches and just see what happens.
Yeah.
If for some reason they got a gun or something by, well, guess what? You're going to find out because I just sacrificed myself. I'm going for knowledge. And if they don't, well, I'm going to tackle them. I'm pretty big. I'll probably be able to take down, the average sized human, maybe a little bit bigger and less. So I was like, yep, that was always my plan. So after that, it was headphones on and time to try and fall asleep. But I can't fall asleep on planes. It's so tough for me to fall asleep on planes now. I used to when I was a kid. I cannot do it now. So
I can sleep anywhere.
I always have. I know you can. I always have.
Burke, you're asleep right now.
Yes.
I've always got something that I'm trying to do or try and listen to a book or something like that. But for the most part, I'm like, okay, well, I'll be the guy that just runs and tries to tackle them, sees what happens. I'll be the one that gets info for people.
Oh man, see, like I'm MacGyvering my way through like Burke is like in this case. When I have my iPad with me, I'm like, okay, I would put this up my shirt to
To give myself a little bit of body armor.
like it's like I've already considered that. So if like I assume for the most part, like if they're on a plane, if terrorists are on a plane and it's shit's going down, most of the time in those scenarios they go like, oh, I have a bomb, or they have a knife. Like those are the two. The guns are like the lowest on the priority.
Yes.
So the iPad, I'm like, okay, that'll protect me a little bit from a knife, at that point. But in a worst case scenario, they come with a box cutter. I ain't scared of fucking box cutter. Like, you think that's going to stop me? Like, oh no, you're going to cut me. Yeah, I'll need some stitches, but I'm going to take your ass down. I'm going for the jugular. Like, I've already thought that part of it through, But as far as like the bomb situation is always the hardest one, because I'm like, I can't defuse it, so I got to stop him from hitting the trigger, first. Like, oh yeah, I've every plane I get onto.
You don't have someone on speed dial where you can be like, hey, which wire do I need to cut? I have this scenario that we've been preparing for years.
I need that, and if anyone out there wants to reach out to me, my Twitter is unbelievable. If you are the wire guy, like
it's in the show notes below. Just go down and check it and click on it. They're all links.
If you know about bombs and you want to help me save America, you let me know. But yes, I have absolutely considered it, Burke, and I am right with you there, man. It'll be you and I stopping it and getting on the front page of the news like, we gonna goddamn sons of bitch. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yep. Absolutely. All right, so that was number 2. Number 3, never have I ever almost thrown up on a flight. Now, wait. You get extra points if you actually have thrown up on a plane before.
Like a jet plane, like not like a airline plane, a private jet, or kind of like a military jet.
If you have been in the air and thrown up, but like flying and then you've thrown up.
Yeah, I have.
You've thrown up. When did this happen?
So it was one of the first times that I was ever in a private plane, and my mother goes, you have to take Dramamine. You're going to get sick. Yeah, I got sick because of the Dramamine, and I threw up all over the place.
You're kidding me.
I'm not kidding. I have never taken Dramamine since, because I don't get seasick. I don't get air sick. Like, she made me take it. It made me pass out, and I woke up and I all disoriented, and then I threw up after that. The funny thing is, it was when we were just kind of landing really easy, no problem. Before that, like I've after that, like I've been in jets where we're doing 0G stuff, and in that plane we were doing 0G stuff before that. Didn't bother me at all. Like, I mean, normally no problem at all on anything, but it was just because of that drug. It totally screwed me up. So yes, I have thrown up on a plane.
It does make you tired.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
It just messed with my whole system, and I can't take that stuff to this day. Because I mean, like I love flying. Like, I've flown planes myself, and ever since, and I've had no problem. Like, I've been on planes where everyone around me is throwing up on airliners because of turbulence and whatnot, and it doesn't affect me at all. But it was literally Dramamine that messed me up.
What about you, Michelle? Have you ever thrown up or gotten close? Or, I mean, anything like that?
Nope. I, like Burke, I don't suffer from motion sickness, so I've never had an issue.
That's good. That's very lucky.
When I was about 12 or 13, I had a close call. We were flying back from, I don't remember where, and we were just on one of those, like, fucking prop planes, basically.
Puddle
and
jumper.
Yes, and this thing, we were getting up in the air, and it would just all of a sudden drop like crazy, and then like pick back up and drop again, and pick back up and drop again. And I've always been the person where it never bothered me. Like, whenever I've been in planes and it's done that, like, I get giddy like I'm on a roller coaster. I'm like, ee! And I'm giggling as we keep falling and stuff like that. But whatever it was this time around, like, I felt horrible. I was like, oh my God, this is not good. and I didn't end up throwing up, but I got very close. Just luckily because it was such a short flight, and it was stormy and whatnot, and we were trying to fly through it, and it was just like the entire thing was basically you put the jump, the randomness in a jump, and that's how it felt like. Someone had just literally programmed something to jump around a screen. That's what it felt like the entire time. It just never was.
Was it in the summer?
Spring.
Spring. Okay, because that's when it's hot out. That's when they get those air pockets. It seems.
It may have been closer. I want to say it was a spring break. We were coming back from spring break, and it was like I said, 12 or 13. So. It may have been closer to like May-ish, but that's about it.
Yeah, it's for some reason during the summertime, the way the air is. Don't ask me. I don't know anything about avionics or anything like that. But the point is that during that time of the year, it tends to have a little bit more of a these pockets to it. So that's why the planes will drop and that kind of thing. Which is what happened to me. I didn't throw up. Once again, I was like you, Craig, where it's like I got very close, but it was like the perfect storm of nightmare scenario. I got seated in the back of a plane, okay, which I don't ever sit in the back of a plane purposefully because that's why it's one of the areas that moves the most. If you get motion sickness on a plane, you need to sit over the wings because that actually is the most stable part of it.
And it's probably inconvenient for your terrorism attack.
That's also true. It's hard for me to get all the way to the cockpit.
That's also true.
That's also true. Yeah. But the point is that I was seated in the back and I was right near the bathroom, of course. And of course, somebody who had just been in there and had a very bad episode. So that didn't help. On top of that, where I was and the way the plane was designed, I was like the only row that didn't have a window to look out. So I'm like, great. So now I can't even look out a window. And we hit all those summer air pockets, and I was bouncing up and down, and I was sitting there just going, "This is the moment where I puke on a plane." And I was looking for in that little front pouch, where they keep the little bags for you just in case. And of course, that I was on budget flight 953, where like there was a magazine that had gum in between like the pages, and that was it. There was no bag, and I'm like, oh god, this is awful. And I made it. I don't know how, but to this day, I still wonder about that. But I made it. It was awful.
So I win. I got 2 points. Yes.
Yeah, you get 2 points for that one.
All right, what's number 4, Brian?
Have you ever missed a flight entirely? Like you overslept or whatever, and you just completely whiffed?
No, I have not.
I have not.
No, I'm the person who shows up always, 3 hours early.
I have not missed the flight. Flights have been canceled on me, but I have not missed the flight.
Yeah, no. This is just have you missed the flight? So okay. Have you ever slept in an airport?
Oh yeah.
not just because of your narcolepsy. I'm talking like actual, like you had to spend the night in an airport due to an extended layover. Like you get there and then they cancel the flight, or wouldn't you have to sleep in the airport?
I haven't done anything like that, but like I've had long layovers when doing international travel, where I'll just fall asleep in the airport. But I know my wife got canceled and was in the airport for 24 hours. But no, that's not me. So I don't know if that counts. But like, because I've had long like 4 or 5 hour layovers, but I was always in business class lounges and would be passed out.
No. This is just I'm talking about like you were stuck in there overnight.
No, but I will in about a month. I'm gonna have an overnight flight. So yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I'll go 0.
I have never had to sleep overnight in an airport.
I've gotten very close, and it's the stupidest thing in the world. I was flying back from San Francisco.
The San Francisco treat?
Yes. And I was not going to end up staying in the night no matter what. Like, it wasn't going to happen. I was flying back from San Francisco, and I got in. It was a red eye, and I got in at like 11 or noon, something like that. And I get in, and I'm like, I'm dead, right? Because I just did a red eye. So I am just absolutely dead. And it wasn't exactly straight to Detroit. Like I hopped around a bunch of different places and had these like stupid late flights, starting at like 11 or 12 at night from, San Francisco is when I flew out. Then I landed and it was like connecting at like 1 a.m. to get over here. And then I'm hitting like the 5 a.m. flight from Minneapolis. And then I land in Detroit It wasn't the 5 a.m. flight in Minneapolis, but I was like doing that kind of stuff. And I got in. Maybe I got in a little earlier. Maybe it was like 9 or 10. And so I'm in and I'm dead tired. And I have one last stop, which is just Detroit to Flint, which is an hour, maybe hour and a half drive. Back to my house. It's a little bit longer drive going up to the actual airport. So I'd end up driving, you know, I'll fly a little bit up and then come back down, but my flight was already there and my car is at the Flint airport. And so I'm sitting there and they're like, oh, well, and it got really stormy out. We had just got in before the storm and like, oh, well, you're going to be delayed a little bit. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm literally just going to go sit down and wait. It's not a big deal. It's a 2-hour delay. I could drive home before that, but it's a 2-hour delay. I was like, okay. So I went about an hour and a half and I'm ready there to board. And they're like, oh, we're gonna have to delay it another 2 hours. I was like, okay, this is getting stupid. So I sit there and wait another 2 hours or another hour and a half. We're gonna have to delay this another 2 hours because of the weather. I was like, are you serious? I could have been home 6 hours ago if I drove. And I'm sitting here and constantly going, well, I'm not going to go through and spend $50 or $100 to rent a car for 2 hours just to drive up and grab my other one. I'm like, I don't want to do that. And then they go through and like, we're gonna have to delay it another hour. It's like, are you freaking serious? I didn't end up leaving. I was there for 12 hours and then they ended up telling me, they're like, oh, it's probably going to be canceled and we're probably not going to fly back up there. I was like, are you serious? I literally have to drive home tonight. And it got to the point, and then right beforehand on the 10 o'clock flight, they're like, okay, this one will actually leave. So I sat for 12 hours, 2 hours away from my own house that I could have, or an hour from my own house I could have driven there. But they constantly were doing it where it was just enough time where I was like, it doesn't make sense. If they had told me I landed at 9, that the next one was going to go till 10, I'd have been like, I'm driving now. I'm going to spend the $50 and just get out of here. But it was constantly
That's
like,
awful.
well, in an hour and a half, I'm like, it's not really worth it. An hour and a half, I'll be home pretty close after that. No big deal. But that was my closest call.
Now that I've never actually had that happen to me, but that actually does transition well into my next one here. Has anyone here ever, or never have I ever, yelled at a flight attendant or front desk staff out of frustration? And I'm talking like not the I'm very upset right now, like straight up yelled at them.
I have not. I try to be nice.
No, I don't do that.
I have not. I have done the very stern talking to when I thought I was getting janked around, but I have not gone the straight up yelling mark.
This Brian asshole.
Yeah.
Tell the story.
So this is true. This is what happened to me. This is one of the reasons that I dislike traveling through Atlanta. Okay, and this is one of the worst experiences.
I hate Atlanta's airport.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that part, but yes, I absolutely loathe it. I travel, like I had to travel a lot with my job, like, and I mean a lot. I took flights nearly every week, you know, and it was just and I had to go through Atlanta like 90% of the time, and I loathe that airport. So one of those fateful nights, I was coming in to a project. And I was like, oh, I got to get there. And so they go, okay, well, you go to Atlanta, and then you go to your next destination. I go, great. So I get to Atlanta, I get out, and I'm like, hooray, time to go to my next destination. Ooh, sorry, sir, but it looks like your flight is canceled. And I said, well, okay, I'll get on the next. You can put me on the next one. There is no next one till tomorrow morning. And I'm like, I have a thing tomorrow morning that I have to be at 9 o'clock. Like, I cannot miss that. Like, you know, and they go, oh, well, you know, don't worry about it. If you call, you can get a hotel room, and, you know, we'll take care of it for you, you know, and so you just pay for it, and then we'll reimburse you and this and that. Right. And I'm like, this sounds shady because like I'm not getting confirmation from like basically anybody. This is just the person on the phone was frustrated and seemed like they were trying to get me off the phone. Right. So I get to the airport and I'm like, well, where do I go? And they said, well, there's this front desk staff person you can go to. At this point, it's 1 a.m. I'm in this line for over 2.5 hours. It's about three something in the morning at this point, you know? And so I'm exhausted. I get to the front desk and I'm like, I need that hotel that the lady on the phone was talking about. And they're like, the hell are you talking about, hotel? We don't give out hotels. That's not a thing we do. And I'm like, no, the lady said I get I'd say the whole point was I get a hotel room. She's like, no hotel rooms, and it's like, and matter of fact, we're closing. We got to go. And I'm like, so at that point, I kind of lost it a little bit, you know. And so I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I go, look, I don't give a shit if this is your fault or not. I go, I have been awake for all these hours. I have a meeting in less than 6 hours, and you're telling me that I not only don't have a seat on this next flight, but I don't have a fucking place to sleep tonight. She's like, well, I'm sorry. See you later. And she just left. And so I'm like, motherfucker. I ended up at a different hotel, had to call, it's a different hotel, got less than like 3 hours of sleep. Ended up having a big fight with Delta about it that took about 2 weeks to settle. And on top of it all, when I called to make my reservation for that hotel, someone stole my credit card information, and then I had to I lost my credit card for another. for another 2 weeks while I'm on a business trip where I have no source of cash, so I had to use my debit card, which I don't like to. It's a whole. Yeah, I was so fucking. I was to this day, I get like just my blood boils when I hear the word Atlanta.
I knew I was going to get told that story because you called me at like 2 a.m.
I did because I was so.
Me.
I'm like, hey, Craig, how's it going, buddy? I had that craziness in my.
Was I on the West Coast at that point? Is that why you called me? I can't remember. I just remember you calling me and bitching, and I was just cracking up.
Oh yeah, no. I don't even remember if you were even on the West Coast. I think you might have been, but the point is that you were definitely on some sort of trip. So I felt it like mediocre, okay for me to call you at that point, and I didn't give a shit because I was just in such a bad mood. I'm like, anyone want to hear about the crazy? I hated it. I to this day I have a chip on my shoulder, even though I know that it's not technically either Delta or Atlanta's fault. I blame both. But anywho,
no, I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah. All right. This is an easy one. Has anyone, never have I ever, been seated right next to the bathroom on a plane?
Yep, I have. I don't have many stories on it. I just have a few times.
I have not.
No?
No, I don't. None of these questions apply to me.
Really?
Nope.
I have sat right there, and for me, there was only one time where it was the biggest regret of my life, where somebody had a bad day. It wasn't motion sickness, it was something else, and they had a bad day, and it was early in the flight, and I was sitting right, it was technically to the one opposite of me, so like I got to see into it anytime somebody opened the door, and it would just waft to me as they would walk out, and it was the worst thing ever. It was so terrible.
Oh God, I'm laughing because I've been right there. Like I've had the same, for every time I'm seated next to the bathroom, I purposely try not to, but if I am sitting next to the bathroom, I swear it's every time I just see the guy coming down the hall and I'm like, it's that guy. I know it's going to be I know you can't help it, buddy, but God dang it. So yeah, that's definitely happened to me as well. Okay, this one is semi-related. Has anyone ever been on a flight, never have I ever, farted on a plane and acted offended to save face with the people next to you?
I know I farted on tons of planes because Craig knows my gas. I don't know if I've ever acted offended. I just usually act like I'm asleep.
That's your move.
Like you're asleep, you are asleep.
Give yourself a half point, Burke. Okay,
all right, fair enough.
Okay, Michelle, have you ever pulled this one?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I've never acted offended, but I definitely have every single flight I have ever been on. I promise you, the entire flight. One, because of the pressure change actually helps gas move.
Altitudes,
as
I like to call it.
It moves gas through your system. Faster. It helps push it out, so it's natural for everybody on a flight to feel like they have to fart constantly.
Oh sure.
But I let it go, and if someone looks over at me, I just straight face look at them and act like I have no idea what they're like looking at. It's just like, hi, what are you staring at me for? Just like if someone just started staring at you randomly in the middle of the hallway, you're just like, hi, I don't know why you're staring at me.
Go on.
What's up, man? How you doing? And I'm sitting there just wafting in my own brand, and it's horrible.
And you're just like, this is the world's worst situation.
The only person that calls me out on it is my father. Every time he looks over, because he knows. Every time he looks over and just goes, he gives me the eye look. He just goes, "You son of a bitch."
Yeah, Emily does it now too. If she's God damn it, John.
And you're like, what? What I did? I thought this was me.
Yep.
I definitely have pulled that maneuver once. It's because it was one of those deals where, like, you know, if human beings, we're disgusting creatures who fart. It happens. But the thing is that, like, one time it was like didn't smell the greatest. I think I had stir fry the night before or something. But the point is that everyone's like kind of like looking around, and so like I just joined in with them. Like, how dare someone just loose this on the plane? Like, have they no shame? And I'm just like, it was like the liar. It was me. Oh God. Okay, how about this one? Never have I ever accidentally sang out loud while listening to music on a flight.
Oh, I don't know if I have or haven't, but I'm fairly certain it happens all the time because you know how I just randomly break into song. So I guarantee you it happened.
Burke, I don't want to lose your love.
Yeah. I don't want to lose your love tonight. All right. That was horrible harmony right there.
No. We'll work on it. Don't worry. Next week we'll have a whole boy band thing. So.
Oh yes. Ooh, I'm excited now.
Michelle.
Nope. I don't listen to music. I almost always read on flights.
Oh really?
I was fully expecting.
Yes.
I don't listen to music.
What do you read?
I make music.
I am music.
Whatever I'm currently reading.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just was
Harry
wondering
Potter.
if you had like a specific series or something that you know.
No, just either whatever book I'm in, or I'll just pick one of my random ebooks. Generally, yes, Harry Potter.
Oh, okay. I'm with you.
I know for a fact I've never sang out loud on a flight because I just never listen to music when I'm on a flight.
Okay. All right. Once again, I'm in the camp who has done this, and mainly because like I was kind of sitting like you know how when you don't have somebody sitting next to you, you almost feel like you're on the flight by yourself. And I was sitting there. I had my headphones in. I was playing my DS, and the next thing I know, I was like, uh-oh. And I just looked around and I'm like, crap, everybody heard that. And then I looked around like, who did that? No. All right. I think never have I ever considered opening the emergency exit.
Damn it. Yes.
It's like the big red door, and you're like,
It's like I wonder what would happen.
okay.
Are the movies true?
Okay. So, Michelle, have you ever considered it?
Nope.
Okay. Craig?
Always.
Me too. It's like the giant red thing that says "Do not pull." It's like push and pull. And I've read that door 800 times, going, I could totally take it.
I always look at him like, okay, in case of emergency or for fun, how do I take this out? Oh, okay, this is awesome. Do this. All right, I've got the plan.
Okay, well, that ties into the next one. Never have I ever imagined having to land the plane yourself.
Oh, yes. I still have, flight or all those simulations. I'm like, just in case I have to, I'm ready. I am ready.
Michelle?
Nope.
Really, Michelle? You've never once considered been on a flight and been like, oh my God, the pilot's dead. Can anyone fly this thing? And you're like, me.
It's going to be, okay, how do I get a hold of the radio so I can just scream at somebody to fix this?
Really? Okay. You never thought about it just once?
I'm talking I've watched videos on how to land planes, what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to call Mayday, 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 and all this stuff. Oh yeah, I've watched videos. I'm ready. I'm fucking ready.
Craig?
I have in no way thought about this.
Really?
I
Not at all?
assume if I'm the one that everybody's counting on for this plane to
We're going
land,
down.
we're fucked. That's when I pull out Michelle's emergency text message and I start sending it.
See, I'm with Burke on this one. I've really looked into this, and when I flew little Cessnas and stuff like that, I'm like, I understand the basic mechanics. I understand enough.
Yeah.
I have I put the headset on, be like, all right, it's like, all right, this ain't gonna be pretty, but talk me through it, and you just go for it. Like, absolutely, I've considered that every flight.
If they've got Banshee controls, I think I could do it, but
We'd all be fucked.
Yep.
Who are you kidding? He's the worst flyer ever.
Oh my god, are you kidding me? We'd say
know.
both wings would just
Hey,
take
how do
it
I
off.
uninvert this control? Or, I mean, how do I invert this? Jesus Christ. All right, next question. I don't know.
Never have I ever been stopped on the runway and had to go back to the gate.
Oh, yeah, that's happened to me a few times.
Michelle?
Nope.
No.
Oh, my God.
You were like,
how? On this one?
Michelle,
Oh, my
I
God.
want to travel with you because apparently in your like when Michelle travels, it's like sunshine, lollipops.
No,
and
it's just like
Bones.
it's not. It's just none of the situations you're describing are like anything that I've had a problem with.
that's what I'm
Do
saying.
you have problems?
That's what I'm saying. She's like, I would have problems if I wasn't awesome. It's like I pick up a brand new game and beat it. It's like beat everybody. It's like, oh,
You know what my problems on planes are? When there's not magazines with Sudoku open in them. That's my kind of magazine when they're already filled out.
Meanwhile,
That's Michelle's
Burke and I are
problems.
sitting here considering, like, if a terrorist with a bomb destroyed the pilot, how do we land this bitch? Like,
No, I've had delays due to engine problems, but it's like we weren't even on the plane at all.
Oh, okay.
I had a 10.5-hour delay, but it didn't turn into an overnight. Like, I've had things like happen, just not in the specific situations that you're describing.
okay, hold on. Am I missing the question? I thought it was because you had to go back to the gate for like you forgot something or something along those lines.
no. You say that.
No, he's saying like the plane started to leave and then had to come back.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I've had that happen.
me too.
Where you're on the runway and it's like, oh, our left engine's on fire. We're gonna have to come back and try and put this thing out real quick. I've had that happen. I thought you meant like you were on the for some reason when I was thinking, I thought you meant like if you're on the tarmac trying to get out to the plane and then you had to like jet back because you forgot your backpack or something.
Oh, yeah,
sitting in
no.
the thing. Because I was gonna say I haven't done that, but I've forgotten shit on the plane and I had to run back onto the plane and get it.
Here, as we go on to the next one. By the way, that definitely happened to me. I mentioned that, but make sure everybody heard that. Never have I ever been on a flight with a celebrity.
I don't think I have. I'm pretty sure I haven't.
If I wasn't aware of it. I doubt it.
I have the running back from the Tennessee Titans like 10 years ago. He was sitting in first class. I've had a couple of them. I can't remember them off the top of my head. Jake Gyllenhaal was in first class once. Yeah, he was in first class in front of us one point. Looking over, I was like, that's Jake Gyllenhaal. My dad's like, who's that? I'm like, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. I've had a couple of them. I can't think of them off the top of my
That's
head.
when Craig goes Brokeback Mountain. Duh.
Yeah, but I've had.
I wish
I've
I
had
could quit you.
Not quite a few, but I've probably had a handful, 5 or 6 or something like that.
Okay, well, see, there you go. I knew somebody had to do it because I have none. I've never been on a plane with a celebrity, or if I did, I didn't recognize him. So
There was one time that we don't know who he was. We're assuming he was like a rapper of some kind. He was sitting in first class. Kirk and I were flying out to, we were going on like a spring break, and it was a summer. And we were flying out to Florida. We had missed actually, no, I did miss a flight. There we go. I did miss a flight. Kirk and I, we forgot our
I'm glad I labeled these
passports.
rows.
We forgot our
One.
passports back at the house. And we had to drive back and try to get back again in time for the flight. And we could not actually make the flight. So we ended up having to wait. We missed that flight because we forgot our passports. We got on the next flight and we got first class. And the guy we were sitting next to, he was the row next to us. I mean, had so many diamonds on every piece of jewelry he had. It was obnoxious. And so we're like, this has got to be like some kind of rapper or something.
it must. I mean, it wasn't like I wasn't some guy. I don't know, Jay something. I don't know, Jay-Z maybe. I don't know.
No, it would have been like someone that has like the same look as like a Lil Wayne or something. Like a lot of tattoos, a big. Yeah, I said Lil. Okay.
Okay.
Shows you know I know my rappers.
That's
Yeah.
Lil Jon. That's not Lil Wayne. But he had like a massive fur coat, this ridiculous watch, these like tons of rings, and they all were massive diamonds. And he was wearing these shades, and he had tattoos like all over his face and stuff. So it just made me think like a rapper. Yes, $50.
Oh god.
I'm sorry, but I'm just having a good time.
I must be losing because I think I'm drunk.
No, you're winning. Are you kidding me? You're killing it.
Okay.
So let's move on from Craig and Craig's rapping friends, and we'll talk about another one here. Never have I ever flown in a storm.
Oh, yeah, I've done that many times.
Michelle?
She has to.
She's gonna say. It's like it's the weirdest thing. There was one, but then it's just rainbows when I flew.
We actually, on the way home from Michigan a couple days ago, we had to circle because of a storm, but we didn't go through it. And the same thing happened coming back from a robotics competition in senior year of high school. We were coming back from Atlanta up to Flint, and we had to circle for a while because Flint was suffering a blizzard. But like, we didn't actually fly through it.
Okay, I'd say yeah. That's almost as bad sometimes, just because you have to keep circling.
Yeah, because in both situations, they were like, oh, we might have to go to a different airport, and we were all like, fuck.
Yes, it was the one I almost threw up in.
I'd say I've been in plenty of storms as well, where it's like they're like, okay, we're just gonna go ahead and just begin our landing process, and I look outside and I'm like, that's all lightning, and it's like, yep, that is. We're just gonna ignore that, folks. Please roll down your windows or like, pull down the shades, and I'm like, okay. So definitely. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the final two here. I'd say, never have I ever been drunk on a flight.
Well, fuck. I have been. I think the most recent one it's mainly flying business class and whatnot. And I was flying from Africa to France and France to the US, basically. And I was drunk the whole time because that's what made it bearable. Because I'm telling you, some of the people that got on the plane in Africa did not know what a shower was. Oh, it was awful. So I was like, okay, I'm going to drink. And then when I got up, I slept in the airport, and then the whole flight back, I'll have a glass of scotch and a glass of water, and I would drink both of those, pass out, wake up, have a glass of scotch and a glass of water, and that was my whole flight. So yes.
So definitely on your part.
Yes, definitely.
Michelle?
No.
I've drank twice on a flight, and both times I had one drink because we had like drink vouchers because we got delayed. Other than that, I've never drank at all, but I did sit next to somebody. There was this girl, probably 21, I'm assuming, roughly, probably maybe south of that. And she got on and she just smelled like straight rum. And it was not like, no, excuse me, vodka. It smelled like straight vodka. And the whole, like, she just emanated this smell from her. And
Craig got drunk off of that.
Yes, about 90 times throughout the flight, she'd have to get up and like sprint to the bathroom. And you could tell she was like holding her mouth half the time, and she was just throwing up the entire time. But that's as close as I've seen as to someone being drunk on a flight. Was they had a bad morning after.
I've never been drunk on a flight. I've had drinks on flights, and I've had drinks before flights.
I don't even think I've drank on an airplane.
Oh, it's just expensive. That's all it is.
That's why it's either with drink vouchers or it's or a company's paying. That's the only reason for me.
Like a first class or business class type thing.
Exactly.
Even when I've sat first in business class, I don't drink. I'm like, I don't really care.
Yeah, it was one of those deals. I was in first class, and they're like, oh, you want alcohol? And I'm like, no, like it's free. Like free.
I remember the first time I actually drank on a plane. I was going on a mission trip.
Okay, yeah,
yes, to basically Honduras. So from Houston to Honduras, and for some reason it was cheaper to send a 16, 17-year-old kid first class than by coach. Don't ask why. My mom found the tickets. She's amazing at this stuff. So I'm flying first class as a 15, 16-year-old, and they go, or 16, 17, excuse me, and they go, would you like a glass of wine? I was like, yes, please.
But of course.
And I was like, I drank like 2 drinks. I'm like, this shit is nasty. I was like, okay, I don't like wine.
I had a time. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that was it. But yes, 4-mission trip because I'm a holy kid.
I was sitting in between. I was in the middle seat, sitting between a mom and her daughter. And a guy comes back to me once the flight took off and you could get up. He comes back to me. He goes, hey, this is my family. Do you want to take my seat in first class? I was like, if you want to sit back here, that's fine. That makes sense to me. And I mean, I would have given up even if he had sat somewhere else so he could sit with him. And so I kind of grabbed my stuff and I was like, for me doing this for you, though, I'm going to have you buy a drink on me. And the joke was drinks are free up there. Like that was the whole thing. And he goes, drinks are free up in first class, and gave me the dirtiest look like I was stupid. It's like, and never mind, there goes the joke. I'm just going to go sit down now. Like, and I said it in such a sarcastic tone that I was like, how did he not? Never mind.
You'd be surprised. Sarcasm doesn't exist everywhere in the country. I'll tell you that.
What?
No, it doesn't. I lived in Arkansas for a long time, and I loved Arkansas. For the record, I love the people of Arkansas, but they don't do sarcasm. Like,
no, they really don't.
They don't, and it's fine. I loved my time in Arkansas, to be completely honest with you. But like, I learned that day one. I was in the pulling out of the airport in a parking lot, and I turned to the person, and I said some sort of like sarcastic remark along the lines of like it was really ridiculously hot outside, and I was like kind of breezy, or whatever. Like I just made like a stupid comment about like it being chilly, and it was clearly like a fucking just like basically in lava out there, and the lady's like, it's breaking a record for heat right now, and I'm like, oh. I'll be on my way, miss.
Well, see you later.
Yep. Well, see you later. All right, last one. Saying this one, I mean, come on. We can't talk about flights and flying without talking about our good friends over the TSA. So never have I ever been stopped by the TSA. And if you were, what happened specifically?
Yeah, I've been stopped a few times. I think the most recent one was in Wyoming, I believe, and I'm with my in-laws, and we shoot guns a lot up there.
Mm-hmm.
So we were at the range for probably 3 days straight, and we also reload bullets. So, which means obviously you make your own bullets, right? So I had gunpowder everywhere, all over my stuff, everything. So needless to say, I got swabbed for bomb stuff everywhere. Yep. So that was my most recent one.
Of course, because they're probably looking at you going like, you're like this guy's clearly covered in gunpowder. He's a threat, and you're like, on the contrary, I'm the guy who's going to save this flight.
Yeah, that's right.
What about you, Michelle?
I have actually twice.
Oh, we got one! It took like 40 questions, but we did it!
Ding, 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 ding. Okay.
So the first time, it was a 5-minute investigation, and I'm not exaggerating, of my hair clip. I was wearing an ornamental hair clip. I wasn't thinking about it. Like, it never crossed my mind that I probably shouldn't have worn this, like, through security. But it was just an ornamental hair clip, and I'm not kidding you. They looked at it for 5 minutes to figure out if it could be a dangerous weapon or not.
A hair clip?
Yes.
What?
A
That's
metal
the weirdest
hair
thing.
clip.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
So then, from then on, I've never put anything in my hair. I'm like, I'm not even putting a rubber band. Like, I don't wear anything in my hair. I'm just like, I wear minimal whatever. I don't even wear jewelry or anything because from that, I was just like, I'm never doing it again. And the second, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say that I've never been pulled over for the hair tie. I used to have my hair tied up all the time when I had it long. Whenever I'd go through and fly, they never pulled me for that.
I mean, they probably wouldn't, but just since it took so long over this stupid hair clip, I was just like, I'm never going to do this again. Like, that was my thought process. And then the second time, I don't know where it came from or why, but I was also swabbed for bomb residue after a friend dropped me off at the airport. So I don't know if there was like...
What was your friend doing?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if he was somebody who used guns on a regular basis or maybe smoked. I don't know if there was something in his truck that I just touched on accident, but I got swabbed for bomb residue after he dropped me off at the airport.
That's crazy. So I'm going to interrupt you, Craig, and I got another story that I just remembered. So, again, I'm from Texas and I have knives all the time. So I've been stopped countless times for having knives on me because I always have a knife on me. So I try to check it, but there's been a few times. Most recently, I was going to New Jersey, and actually I had a knife in my backpack. Like a good 3-inch, 2.5, 3-inch blade that was actually one of my buddies that I found at work because it had fallen out of his pocket, and I picked it up. I was like, "Oh, I'll give this to him next time I see him." And then I had an emergency trip to Jersey, made it through all the way through security with that knife in my backpack. And all the way back.
No way.
Oh yeah, and then so that was the most recent time, but I didn't get stopped for that one. But the most recent one before the gun thing was I was in St. Louis, and I forgot to take my knife out. But I always used to have a little Swiss Army knife, those little tiny little red things with like a knife, a pair of scissors. Like I have one of those in my backpacks at all times. 99% of the time I get away with having one of those. Probably shouldn't say that, but I always have one of those. Well, because I had another knife in there, they searched my whole backpack, found that. I'm like, are you kidding me? I flew up here with this in my backpack. I've flown all over the country with this thing in my backpack. You're going to take it now? They're like, yeah, it's a knife. It's a dangerous weapon. I was like, all right, whatever, guys. Just take it. I'll go buy another one for $5 and put it in my backpack when I get home. Yeah.
I have had a knife taken away from me. Forrest got me this. My brother-in-law, got me a really nice Swiss Army knife for like my birthday or graduating. I don't remember what it was for. And the three of you will know, but everybody else will know it's mainly useless for me.
Yeah.
I am not that type of handy person, so I hardly have a reason to use them. And I had it in my backpack, and I had it in my backpack for probably years, and I just didn't think about it. And I went, and the first time I flew with that backpack in there, immediately had to throw it out. I was like, well, and it was like engraved and everything. I was like, because we were going to miss our flight. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to toss it. But for the question, it was a running gag because from the time of, I would say 2002 to 2009, every time I flew, I was pulled aside and given the full on everything besides strip. We're checking every hole you have, like the fullest extent you could do without actually doing that. I was pulled aside every single time. And my family, it seriously was a running gag. They're like, watch this. They would tell people online, he's going to get pulled aside. Watch every single time. Sir, can you come over here, please? It's like, oh God, here we go again.
And this is before the beard.
This is before the beard. Well, 2 years of beard because I started growing the beard in 2007.
Okay.
But it was before the beard. This is when I was like, what my mother-in-law calls the surfer dude. Like I had the long bleach blonde hair, like the mop of hair, it was bleach blonde. And I couldn't look more like a preppy kid if I possibly tried. And I was getting pulled aside every single flight. Every single time I went through, I was getting pulled aside. And it finally stopped about, 4 or 5 years ago. And it's been absolutely beautiful that I haven't had to go through that.
Nice.
But they always pull me aside whenever I have my Xbox with me.
Always.
Every single time.
Always.
They pull you aside and they're like, can you take this out? I'm like, okay, yeah, we can take this out and we can go through this whole thing.
I just take it out now.
As far as I'm concerned, they do tend to get me like for they swab my hands all the time for residue. There's never anything on them, of course, but for some reason, like they'll look at the group and they're like, okay, pull this guy aside, do this to this, but then they look at me and they're like, swab that guy. It's like for some reason my hands just like they want to swab them. I don't know why, but that's the only thing. I don't really get hassled too much with those guys because I'm pretty good about it. The only person who has an issue in my family is my mother, who decides that when the day we fly is the day that she wants to put on the most jewelry of any human being on Earth.
Gotta look nice for those flights.
Yep, she goes for the record, and she's like, oh, it'd be great, 800 bracelets that I can't get off without someone else's help, and I'm like, God dang it, no! So every time we go, we fly, it's always the same thing. It's like, I'm like, and here it comes, beep 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 beep. I was like, ma'am, you have on a necklace, a tiara, and I'm like, God.
That's funny.
God. Yeah.
So I have. Let me ask one more question onto this. So never have I ever been on the TSA no-fly list, and I'll go last.
Not me.
No.
Not that I know of. I don't think I've ever been. Well, how did you get told not to fly?
When I was young, of course, we traveled a lot when I was young, and apparently there was some 35-year-old guy with my same name. I think it was just John Burke. It didn't have my middle name, my awesome middle name, Cornelius.
I was going to say, if they had your middle name, that would have been hilarious.
I think it was John C. Burke. They had another C name and it was on the no-fly list. So every time I flew, they pulled me aside. He can't fly. So every time we'd literally go, he's fucking 15. He's fucking it was like from like it was seriously like I think from the age of 8 to 12, maybe 15, that I was on this no-fly list, and we had to fight it every time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
And he's just fighting like, hey, this isn't him. Can you check the full records?
Just look, he's 50. They're like, no, he's not. Look at the records. He's 50. Oh, and 15 minutes later, oh yeah, you're right. This kid's 12.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm picturing the TSA just going denied, son, like just every time, and it's like, and then it's like, sir, it's like, why can't I get on this flight? And I just say, that's easy, son, because you just got dunked on.